Hey folks, Jackdaw here. Just as Dragon's Dogma 2 set our pulses racing with the romance between the Arisen and Ulrika, we now have to talk about Wilhelmina naturally. The stunning proprietress of the Rose Chateau Borderlie in Vermund's capital. Known to blend charm, intelligence and open-mindedness, you'll first cross paths with Wilhelmina as you unravel the mystery of the false Arisen and Queen Disa's plot, where she lends a helping hand along the way. But don't be fooled by her allure alone, there's more to her than meets the eye. Now, just like Ulrika's romance, to capture Wilhelmina's heart, you're gonna have to embark on a series of quests. But fret not, I am here to guide you every step of the way, leading to, of course, a romantic climax. So, getting started, to romance Wilhelmina in the game, you have to complete her special romance quest called Every Rose Has Its Thorn. But in order to unlock that quest, you are gonna have to finish two main quests given by Brandt, the Stolen Throne and an Unsettling encounter. Now, the Stolen Throne is available immediately once you arrive in the capital, involving a masquerade to confront the false Arisen. On the other hand, an Unsettling encounter unlocks after you complete the main quests Monster Culling and Disa's plot with Brandt. And depending on which main quest you tackle first, either the Stolen Throne or an Unsettling encounter, you will meet Wilhelmina in a different context. Now, don't stress about the order, that really doesn't matter. You just need to make sure that you finish both quests to unlock her romance quest, Every Rose Has Its Thorn. And just so you know all the options available, I will delve into how the Stolen Throne and an Unsettling encounter each introduce Wilhelmina in their own different ways, so you can fully decide which approach suits you best. Alternatively, if you've already done both of these quests, there's still time to kindle Wilhelmina's flame, so let's just dive in step by step. So I kicked off the romance with Wilhelmina by starting the Stolen Throne main quest, and in this quest I encountered Wilhelmina for the first time at a masquerade in Venworth while searching for the false Arisen. Equipped with a mask from Brandt and a courtly tunic and courtly breeches, I made my way to Venworth Hall to attend this masquerade, and inside I discovered a back room leading to the Rose Chateau Borderlie. There, a cutscene immediately played introducing my Arisen to the voluptuous Wilhelmina, and she wasted no time in offering her help after a crucial plot twist involving the false Arisen in one of the Borderlie's rooms, where my Arisen peeked through a secret peephole. Following some dialogue with Wilhelmina just afterwards, she gave me her special card granting me full access to her Borderlie, and with that, the Stolen Throne quest came to an end. And while entry to the Borderlie grants access to various services, including the option to engage in a one-night stand with a variety of courtesans from human, beastren, male, female, all at the cost for 20k gold, my focus wasn't on that. Instead, it was solely on pursuing Wilhelmina. So, following my initial introduction with her, I then started the main quest, an Unsettling encounter, which, just like the Stolen Throne, is also a sweet and short quest. This time, however, you're gathering rumours about a nobleman called Allard. And for this quest, I immediately skipped to Venworth Castle at night and investigated Allard's chambers inside. And by locating a hidden passage in the left corner of his room and retrieving the Batal crested letter, my next objective was to flee the castle and return to Brandt, which is exactly what I did. However, I have since learned that if you actually walk out of the archway of the castle, or if you actually haven't completed the Stolen Throne at this point, Wilhelmina will actually catch you, triggering a cutscene. As the guards surround the area looking for whoever broke into the castle, to avoid drawing attention from the guards, Wilhelmina and the Arisen share a romantic kiss. And if the Stolen Throne hadn't been completed at this point, Wilhelmina would then provide the Arisen with her card, granting access to the Rose Chateau Borderlie. Now, of course, I did not get that option because I had done the Stolen Throne and I had ran past her without even realizing. And in that regard, it does ultimately come down to, do you want to share a kiss with Wilhelmina? Well, you either have to do an Unsettling encounter first, then do the Stolen Throne, or if you've already done the Stolen Throne, don't do what I did and just run out of the castle straight get to Brant, walk into the archway which is close to where you entered the castle, and you will share a kiss with Wilhelmina. And so, regardless of the kiss, at this point, having completed both of those quests, Wilhelmina's entrance to the story, the Borderlie card granting access to her place, and the unraveling of nobleman Allard's shady plot all mark the beginning of Wilhelmina's romance quest. The very next morning, my Arisen, now armed with the Borderlie access card, made a beeline for the Rose Chateau Borderlie, and upon reaching the top floor, intending to meet Wilhelmina in her personal bedroom, I encountered a patron blocking the side door, informing me of Wilhelmina's busy schedule with a current client. And this encounter marked the beginning of Every Rose Has Its Thorn, a time-sensitive quest which gives you 3 in-game days to complete. I stepped inside Wilhelmina's bedroom and turned right at the end of the bed and interacted with a picture on the right-hand side wall, which revealed the people from before as my Arisen looked into the next room. And through this, I witnessed Allard's attempt to coerce Wilhelmina into becoming his personal courtesan, which she firmly declined. After Allard departed, I spoke with Wilhelmina, who already knew I was looking through the people anyway, who then disclosed her intention to eliminate Allard, but needed evidence to expose his misdeeds. Of course, I accepted the task, then given a 3-day time frame to gather evidence in time. My investigation led me to Sven, who was in his chamber in Venworth Castle. He suggested seeking information from Patrick, directing me to his estate at night under the guise of being under Sven's employ. Patrick agreed to lure Allard out, granting me an opportunity to search Allard's manor for evidence. And so, with Allard temporarily absent from his manor, I sneaked into it, located a murder report upstairs behind one of his paintings in his bedroom, and then returned to Wilhelmina with the evidence. Now, you can actually just go into Allard's manor and take the evidence for yourself now that I've given you the location. You can skip the whole Sven and Patrick debacle from the get-go. With the evidence in hand, Wilhelmina asked if my Arisen would help her kill Allard, and to which of course I agreed. Again, she then disguised herself as a beastren for spoiler plot reasons, and she then initiated the confrontation by asking the Arisen to basically grab Allard. And so I did just that, triggering a cutscene where Wilhelmina assassinated Allard after revealing her true intentions against him. And with one final whimper from Allard, of course the guards surrounded the room, prompting us both to flee from them. And so following Wilhelmina's lead, I sprinted towards the merchant square, seeking refuge in my home until the very next morning. And here is where we have the payoff, the very steamy moment we've all been building up to. And so I returned to the Rose Chateau Borderlie and I entered Wilhelmina's bedroom, where she basically thanked me, and then triggered the romantic cutscene that concluded the quest and solidified the romance. Now, I'll let you witness the scene for yourself. All I'll say is it's a lot more hotter than Ulrika's romance scene. And for completing this quest, besides Wilhelmina's wonderful company, my Arisen received the Ring of Benevolence, a handy accessory that gradually restores health after sustaining significant damage. And thus, that marks the end of the quest and the romance. But now, of course, we need to talk about the post-romance scene content with Wilhelmina. Now, in this romance scene, she essentially bids farewell to the Arisen, which, while it may sound really stupid, didn't fully hit me until after the quest ended, and I was able to witness the actual consequences of that. Because later on, when I did a few quests and then came back to the capital after some time had passed, I looked for Wilhelmina in her usual spots, and she was literally nowhere to be found, as if she despawned. It seems like she's actually truly gone from the game, which for me felt really underwhelming and anticlimactic, especially when compared to Ulrika's post-romance content here. And like, yeah, fair dues, she did say she was leaving, but in terms of the content, it's really kind of underwhelming. And to give you a bit of picture for that, slight spoilers for Ulrika's romance, but when my Arisen romanced Ulrika, after completing her romance quest, Ulrika visited my house in Vermund the next day and established her own permanent home in Havre, where I can visit her whenever I want. And she continues to visit, send letters and gifts, and go on walks with my Arisen. However, Wilhelmina's romance lacks this kind of long-term content in my experience. So while you're undoubtedly getting a hotter romance scene with Wilhelmina, she doesn't provide the ongoing relationship content as Ulrika does. And I suppose in its very nature, which is also very true to her character, the experience with Wilhelmina is more of a fling than a proper romance, really. And for those wondering, you can romance Ulrika and Wilhelmina both in the same playthrough, with without needing to choose between them. Personally, I prefer Ulrika's romance, but I have successfully pursued them both. And as of this current point, I haven't faced any consequences for this just yet, but I also haven't finished the game either. So I'm going to have to see for myself if there are any repercussions once I'm ready to wrap up the game. I'm also on the lookout for other characters offering more extensive cinematic romances, similar to Ulrika and Wilhelmina, but I actually haven't discovered any yet, which is slightly disappointing given the expectations set by the detailed reports and articles by the game director that I discussed directly in my love and relationships video. Now I'm going to continue to explore and I will update you if I do find more engaging, cinematic, plot-worthy romances in the game. But it is disappointing for players also interested in romancing the significant male characters like Brandt or Sven or Glindar. In any case, I hope this guide has been helpful for those aiming to capture Wilhelmina's heart in the brief moments we get to spend time with her. Of course, for those interested in how to romance Ulrika, you can check out my previous video. Meanwhile, I'm off to search for more hearts to capture. Wish me luck, and until the next one, I've been Jackdaw, and I should go. Whoa, 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 whoa.